Welcome back. Paris Fashion Week is now underway. Dozens of fashion houses will flaunt their best new pieces in the French capital, including Balmain. The brand suffered a setback earlier this month when its creative director Olivier Roustier said about 50 pieces were stolen from a vehicle in Paris. Nicole Phelps is in Paris, joining us now to talk all things Fashion Week. She, by the way, is the executive director of Vogue Runway and Vogue Business. Thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
So, Nicole, how did you expect the Paris Fashion Week shows to stand out from other cities?
Paris is the culmination of a month of fashion shows, and it's where the trends really come together. And we feel at Vogue that they really synthesize here. And of course, in addition to Milan, it's where the biggest fashion houses in the world were built and exist today. So the names that are really household names for everyone around the world: Chanel, Louis Vuitton, Yves Saint Laurent. They all really pull out all the stops. So it's a very big week here in Paris. And one thing you'll notice here more than anywhere else is the massive amount of fans that turn up outside the shows and line the gates and waiting to see the celebrities, especially the K-pop stars. There's nobody louder than the K-pop fans.
So Nicole, oftentimes in fashion, what's old is new again.
Yeah.
I was shocked when I walked by, I think I took a picture of this and I posted it on my Instagram. I walked by the newest window display for J. Crew. And I know we're not talking like J. Crew like we would perhaps Gucci or LVMH, but I was shocked to see for the men's trends, the display windows looked like an episode of Friends. In other words, it was very like 1990s. Suits for men went through a period in the 90s where they were really roomy and boxy. Yeah. And then you had people like Tom Ford who sort of came back with the silhouette that is the one that I wear now. I was shocked to see the 90s back in fashion. Like, what's going on there?
We say that trends come around every 20, 25 years. So you have young people who look at the 90s as ancient history. It looks like, it's sort of like me growing up in the 90s and wearing 70s clothes and asking my mom, did you save those bell bottoms? And yeah. It's just an endless cycle. But you're totally right. The 90s are really happening in fashion right now.
It's funny when you have to make that choice for a second time around.
I know.
That's when it's awkward.
It's like,
right?
I'm not going to wear acid wash jeans ever again.
You've done it once, that's enough.
Exactly.
Your children might want you to, though, so you might want to hold on to them.
Save them, right?
Yes.
And listen, what would Fashion Week be without the models? We're seeing a couple of them make some big returns this year. Talk about what's behind that.
Yes. Well, of course, we're all watching The Supermodels, the documentary on Apple TV, and then we're seeing them at the shows and on the runways. Linda Evangelista was in the front row along with Kate Moss and Naomi Campbell at Fendi in Milan last week. And then one of their contemporaries, Claudia Schiffer, walked the Versace show. And Donatella Versace was, to speak of the 90s, was looking at a collection from 1995, and Claudia walked on that runway, and she invited her back to take another round last week.
Wow.
So why do you think, Nicole, that, I think it's fascinating that when we talk about those models from the 90s, Naomi Campbell, Cindy Crawford, Linda Evangelista, Christy Turlington, we haven't seen, there are models that are kind of known today, but nothing like what those models, the Kate Mosses and the ones I just named, were. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that they haven't risen, the current crop, to the level of public consciousness as the models?
I guess I disagree with you a little bit. I think today's models come from different places. We might have seen them on a reality TV show first, and then they make their way to the runway. I think of Kendall Jenner, who was also at Versace this season, or I think of the Hadid sisters, Gigi and Bella, and these are women who it's a generation later, and they are They're different in the sense that they were sort of Instagram famous before they were runway famous. And that is something brands are really eager to tap into now, that you're not just a beautiful woman, you're a beautiful person with 1 million followers or 100 million followers on Instagram. So it's a really, it can be quite a lucrative connection for these brands to make.
You have to be a businesswoman, too.
Yeah, no doubt about that. All right, Nicole Phelps, thank you very much for joining us. Really fascinating stuff.
Thank you.